Here we go. Well, congratulations for hanging in there if you've been with us through the episode. And I pray, and I know for a lot of you, this episode today about how to sell without being salesy. I know this is probably what you were hoping for, but I pray that the build up to this has been really revealing because if we don't deal with these internal conflicts as believers, we're not going to get to experience the fullness and success that God is calling us to. I believe He longs for us to be successful in our businesses, not only because it proves His provision, His supernatural on our natural, but we get to bless our families, but we get to pour out. Listen, if I don't have enough money at the end of the month to pay my bills, expenses, whatever, how can I be a generous giver? How can I pour out? How can I reinvest in me and my business in order to serve you at a higher level? How do I add things into my business to bring more success and tools for my clients, right? I don't have the funds to be able to do it. So, of course, the Lord wants us to have a successful, thriving business. It's kind of like if you think about, and I know you're like, Gail, just tell us how to not be salesy. I'm gonna, and it's going to be really simple and easy. But what I'm wanting you to hear is if you probably believe, and this will be an easier one for you, okay? So if you're still struggling with this concept of believing that God wants you to be successful and prosperous financially in your business, I want to ask you this. Do you believe God wants you to be successful in your health? Do you believe God wants you to have an efficient and effective and thriving body, energy, deep, restful sleep, clear digestion, reduced inflammation so that you're not having flare ups of things, hormones in balance, cortisol in balance, not having cravings of salt or sugar, but loving fruits and vegetables and clean eating and having a thriving machine of a body that's working and thriving. Well, of course we believe that, right? Well, of course, God then, He's God. He doesn't change just because we're talking about your health or your marriage or your business. He wants you to have a thriving, successful fill in the blank, but he has some conditions. One, seek him first. Seek him first. Partner with him. Do your health with him. Receive his guidance, his provision, his direction. Okay. So when it comes to selling, you cannot have, I'm just going to say it, you cannot have a thriving, successful business without selling something. Tell me one business on the planet that is profitable that doesn't sell something. And actually, I could go a step further and say, tell me any successful endeavor of any kind, church, hospital, law office, nonprofit, they are all selling something. Everybody sells. The pastor sells, the teacher sells. I actually wrote a book way back in the day. And I don't know if any of you ever saw the book if you when you were potty training your children called Everybody Poops. It's an adorable book about a little boy being afraid to go potty. And his mother took him through this book and showed him the bear, the giraffe, the monkey, and all the way and everybody's pooping. The giraffe poops, the monkey poops, the bear poops. And at the end, and even the little boy poops to try to make him realize that this is a normal part of life. Well, I'm here to tell you sales is a normal part of life. You sell yourself all day long. We talked about that in an earlier episode. Now, there is one word that I'm going to tell you right now, and I pray you adopt this as a four-letter word that you're not going to do anymore. And I know some of you, four-letter words, you're like, I don't swear. Okay. Well, I would like you to throw this word when it comes to your business, when it comes to your customers. and your clients, I would like you to throw this word into that four-letter word pot. And the word is tell. Stop telling. Now you might be like, well, Gail, how do I sell if I don't tell about my product or offer or value? Very true. I'm talking about your mindset. Most people do not do well in sales and they feel salesy because really what they're doing is they are telling someone all about their wonderful product and its wonderful benefits instead of, here's the best three little word in all of business, ask. Start asking her. If you have a product, the value of your product, remember we talked about the sales process, and the first part is knowing the value. If you have a product and the value of your product is she's going to sleep better, she's going to have a better digestive system flowing, her hormones are going to be better balanced, so she's not going to be having the night sweats. Uh, All right, you get my point, right? So I'm going to, rather than start telling her all about my wonderful product and all the wonderful benefits and all the things that everybody's happening, blah, 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 I'm going to ask, how is your sleep? Do you have night sweats? What's going on with your digestive system? Is it regular? Is it normal? Depending on your relationship, you might start talking about poop. I said, depending on your relationship. The point is, you are asking, why is this so incredibly essential in sales? Now, I have to put a pin right here for a second. This, what I'm talking about right now, is going to be very, very helpful. And I'm going to give you one more power tip in just a second when it comes to sales. But I want you to know right now, if you haven't dealt with these past episodes, if you haven't dealt with your internal conflicts and your internal belief, your understanding of what God wants to do with you in business, servant, success, money, if you haven't dealt with these things, these tips and tools I'm about to give you may give you a little bit of help, but you will not experience the fullness of what God has for you if you're going to carry around the baggage from the past with the broken lies and broken theology that you're carrying. So, I've been there. I still have to do work in this area. I still have to root it out. Lord, expose it in me. Show me when I get to a new level, some of those old things come. Some of you are there right now. You've gotten to a new level in your business. You can see the vision of growth ahead of you, but some of these old enemies are trying to knock at the door again. Okay, pin taken out, and we're back. Why is ask the most powerful thing you can do? Why is asking questions the most powerful thing you can do in sales? Well, some of you are like, okay, well, I know some of these answers. Well, I'm just going to throw some out, right? One, you're listening. You're allowing her to know you truly want, and better yet, if she's with you physically or she can see you, be writing down her answers. You're communicating so powerfully that what she has to say matters to you. And you're discovering through her answers if what you have actually can help her rather than making that assumption, which is the killer of all sales, that you know. So you're building rapport, you're building trust, you're building empathy, you're understanding what's going on with her. You're establishing a relationship. You are being the servant that Jesus talks about in Matthew. And you understand the kingdom principle that if you're showing up with a heart to serve, that success that you're looking for will come, but be the servant. Love first. So you're asking all of these questions. Now, here's that tip I told you. One of the most powerful things you can do in sales, all right? Ultimately, we're trying to bring our potential buyer to a decision. This is what sales is, right? How do you do that without being salesy or pushy? We've talked about a number of those things, right? We stop telling, we stop hyping, we give facts, we ask questions, we ask permission to give information. All of these things are building trust, and you will not be salesy or seem salesy because you will not be being salesy. Can you be excited about your product without overhyping it? Yes, you can, but you need to learn that skill. Now, if you're wanting to, all of us, if you have a business or if you're in a hospital, you need volunteers, you need income. If you're a nonprofit, you need volunteers, you need donors. You're trying to bring people to a decision. The most helpful thing you can do is give them two choices to move them along the decision making journey. So, for example, I'm going to give you an example. Back in the day, the company that I work for in direct sales asked me to train at national conference around this exact topic. And what I want you to know is, I didn't even understand why I had the success that I had. I didn't understand this principle that I'm about to tell you that built me to a multiple six-figure personal income business and our team really to $1 million sales organization annually. I was I was unconsciously doing something that was working, but I didn't really even know what it was until the company asked me to train on how I was getting all these bookings. And I was like, I don't really know. I didn't say that, but I was thinking it. So what happened? What I discovered was I would be, now this is, I'm going back a little bit, right? So I would be on the phone or with them and I'd say, hey, have you ever thought about wanting to have a party? You know? Um, and I'd get a little feedback. I'm asking questions, right? Once I got enough of a warm rapport, green light, I would say, tell you what, if now we talked about a four-letter word, which is telling people, and I asked you to nix it. Then, and let me just say something, because by the time you ask enough questions, when you get to the point where you're actually telling her something, she doesn't feel like you're telling her something. She feels like you are giving her value because now you're telling her in a way that is meeting the need of what she just told you because of the questions that you asked. Some of you need to rewind that and listen to that again. Okay. So we talked about a four-letter word, tell, nix it. Then we talked about a three-letter word, ask, powerful. Now we're going to talk about a two-letter word, if. Some of you, this is going to be a game changer. Okay. We're moving people along the decision making process because it is not just one decision they need to make. They need to make multiple decisions to move them closer to the ultimate yes with you. Whether that is a coaching program, whether that is a product in a bundle, whatever it is. Okay. So I say to her, if you decided to do this, would you want to get started now or in the in September? Oh, she says. Now what you've just done is you've taken all of her thoughts and focused them. Choice, this or this. Now, did you ask her, are you going to buy or not? That's not the choice we're talking about. So, if we're taking her on a journey, if you decided to do this, would you want to book now or would you want to wait until like the fall? Oh, gosh, there's so much going on right now. You know what? I think it would have to be September. Okay. So, tell you what, if, notice what I did again, every time you say if, what happens is she doesn't build a wall. Instead, if I would have said something like, Well, tell you what, I've got a couple dates open. Why don't we book one? Wall, you're pushing me. So instead, if all right, so September, if we did it in September, do you like the idea of us getting together like on a Thursday night for wine and cheese? Or do you like the idea more of getting together on a Sunday afternoon, kind of after church, but before dinner, brownies and coffee? Which of those do you like better? Oh, again, zzz, focus. Oh, oh yeah, me and my friends, we're the wine and cheese girls, or vice versa, right? Typically, they're going to choose one or the other. So then, okay, great, good to know that. I'm making a note of that right now. Wine and cheese girls. All right. So if you decided to do a wine and cheese in September, let me tell you, these are the next two Thursday nights I have open, or I only have this particular Thursday night open in the month of September, or I could do this one or this one. What do you think? I'm telling you, walking through that journey increased my bookings and therefore my sales and therefore my recruits and therefore my team and therefore my organization by about 80%. Was I pushing her to do anything? No, I was inviting her into making a decision because I didn't tell her. I asked her and I gave her the respect of saying, if you decided to do this. So, if I've got those two open. What do you think? Well, I'm not ready to book now. No problem. Would you want me to pencil anything in, or would you want me to call you back in a week or so and just check in and see what's going on? Okay. Now, the only way to avoid being salesy, don't be. You need to decide right now, okay, what will make you feel salesy. What behaviors, what strategies, what types of communicating will make you feel salesy? Identify that. And please hear me in love. Don't do it. If you don't take a look at it, then in those moments of conversation, things just start to come out. Now, if someone, please hear me, and I'm going to wrap up with this. If someone thinks you are salesy, does that mean that you are? Not always. Their perception of what's transpiring with you is coming from their own life experiences. If they have had a lot of negative experiences with salespeople, and if they have a very negative perception of selling or your industry or what you're offering, they're not your ideal customer, by the way. But they may perceive something that you didn't even do. It doesn't mean you can't say, I'm sorry you feel that way. It was never my intention. My hope was that I was asking you questions, learning, and my intention was just to share my excitement and passion. And if that made you feel that I was trying to push you to something, I apologize. Take responsibility. Does that mean you were wrong? It does not. What it means is you're honoring how they're feeling. It doesn't mean you're taking responsibility for her feelings. It means that you're honoring that something in the thing affected her and it wasn't your intention. Be a big girl. You're walking in your kingdom identity. You know it wasn't your intention and you part in love. Well, I just want you to know I am just super passionate and excited about this. And if that came off in any kind of a pushy way, maybe perhaps someone in the past affected you. I just wanted you to know that it was not my intention. I try to work really hard at really respecting every woman that I'm in conversation with. But here's the deal, if you haven't done that inner work around this, that response is not going to come out of you. What's going to happen is you're going to cower, tail between your legs, and run away and think, I hate this. So, growing in our ability to serve, to show up, to have king sales is a win-win in the kingdom. You win and she wins. All right, guys. I hope this has been a wonderful blessing to you. The next episode is going to be an interview with a, multimillionaire. And I say that because she has sold sales training to women in direct sales and network marketing and earned mega income doing it, because she has a passion to help women understand the buyer psychology and sales process. And she's going to be bringing some powerful training to you next episode. See you soon.